All right, welcome to the Creek this week.
Creek Week.
AC3,
It's your entire pastoral staff wondering why Alex hates the youth
Yeah,
group.
I know. Well, I got it right.
You guys
here.
need to give me a
Someone else
memo, man.
You don't care? Apparently, Alex doesn't care.
All right, well, we'll make
feel
up
like-
for it here.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I feel like I'm being attacked.
we're in a series, Rediscovering Church. So we thought this week we'd lighten it up and maybe get to know the pastoral staff a little bit by sharing each of us our best and worst church stories.
Ooh.
And so all three of us have wound up with stories that didn't occur at AC3. So, we don't have to throw anybody under the bus or say this is the greatest church ever, though it's the greatest church ever. So let's start with you, Rick. Worst church experience. Let's start with the worst.
Well, it probably has to do with failure in church leadership, and without any specific person or event, it was probably there was a season where there was moral failure, and then it's almost like what came out of that was worse than the actual failure.
Right.
Just because the way people jockeyed for positions of power, who would make the decisions in the aftermath, what direction would things go, and all the infighting that came out of that. And there was just some ugly human dynamics that came out of that was pretty icky. Yeah.
How about your best?
Well, there's been a bunch, and I guess for sentimental reasons, I'm going to put the service where I came to Jesus, and I'm going to put that aside because that's got to be, my favorite. But I still remember just a profound experience in the gathering of the saints when I came back to my home church after having gone to Bible school for about 2 years. And now I knew everything.
You were an expert.
I was an expert. I was
Obviously.
and I kind of knew everything that had gone wrong in my church experience growing up. And maybe for that reason alone, God chose to meet me in this service where we came back, and it was church of about 300 people. And in the middle of the talk, I started to cry. And I'm not really connected to my emotions much, and so when I cry, it's a big deal. And so God was like, "No, seriously."
I know we agree.
Not
sharing
connected
a
to my
feeling with
emotions.
you.
Yeah, Tin Man a little bit. And so God was profoundly being experienced by me. My parents are looking at me down the pew going, what the heck happened to him? What's going on? At the end of the talk, there was no altar call. People just came forward anyhow, just to be prayed for, to talk about how, just basically how the word had impacted them. It was a really wild experience of the Holy Spirit falling on us as a group, and I was part of that. So it was really cool.
Alex, what about your best? Let's go from best to best.
Best experience was when I was a brand new Christian. My sister had gotten into an accident, had a traumatic brain injury, was in a medicated coma, and brand new Christian, just accepted Christ, and the church broke into our house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a group from the church broke into our house, cleaned the entire house from head to toe, and then left like 2 weeks of food for my family.
Wow.
So while breaking the law, they also decided to be the church.
Yeah.
And it was a really, really cool experience.
Beautiful thing. What about your worst?
So the worst would be a youth group experience that I had, and I was a youth student, and after a youth group, they decided to beat me with like 2-liter bottles of soda. Not the youth pastor. It was other youth students, and they said it was their way.
You were hazed into the people of God.
You got jumped into Jesus?
I 100%. They were like, now you're a part of us. And I'm like, what does this mean, man?
Wow.
What kind of cult have I just joined?
Nice.
That's an alternative to baptism.
Apparently, Mountain Dew over the head.
That's right.
Nice. I think for me, going from worst to worst would be as a brand new Christian in a rock band. But hey, we're going to be able to bring our music to this church, very conservative church, lovely church, but very conservative. And we got permission to play a couple of our songs. We'd written a couple of Jesus songs in a Sunday night service. And as we're setting up in there just before we start, I'm watching person after person come in and see my drum set up there. And they're, oh, no, and then leave. And then the scuttlebutt got back.
Turn and walk right back.
Yeah, because the drums, this was in 1979, 1980, something like that. And no drums in church. So that was really unpleasant. But I think my best was actually in London at an Anglican church that was built for probably 2,500 people. But on the service that Kelly, my oldest daughter, and I were there were probably 25 people. And but it was beautiful. And I think the center of the beautiful moment was this older couple who, in the Anglican service for communion, you come up to the dais and kneel. and receive the elements, and they were in walkers, and we helped them get down on their knees to receive communion, then had to help them stand back up. And it was just deeply moving to be a part of that kind of intimacy with God, these committed believers. So, it's worth remembering that every week there's a gathering.
Yep.
We have a gathering right here in this auditorium every Sunday morning at 10. Join us online. You can gather with us there. We're gathering in e-groups and community groups every week. There's an opportunity for you to have your best church experience every week, a couple of times a week. So don't miss that chance. You just don't know when it might be your best church experience.
That's right.
And we're just going to ignore the fact it could be your worst.
Yeah.
We're just going to be optimistic.
We're going to be optimistic.
But it can't be either if you don't show up.
This is
Right.
true.
Indispensable.
All right. See you here for Rediscovering Church.
CAC3.